Missing man's body discovered at Forum Beach. The body of a man who has been missing since Thursday was found in an unfinished building in Bayside, Portmore, in the vicinity of the Forum Beach. He has been identified as 24-year-old Marco Downer. A passerby reportedly stumbled on the body and alerted the police. Reporters understand that a belt was found around his neck. Residents of Amazon Court, where he resided, and tearful residents have converged at the scene. Indicom probing altercation between police and inmates at Mandeville lockup. The Independent Commission of Investigations Indicom is probing an altercation between police and inmates at the Mandeville lockup, Manchester, on Friday. Commissioner of Indicom Hugh Faulkner says initial reports reveal that the altercation developed following the seizure of a cellular phone. He says some inmates had to be taken to hospital for medical treatment. Commissioner Faulkner says investigations are being done to determine the facts of the incident.
Indicom investigators visited the Mandeville Police Station on Friday morning, May 17, 2024, following reports of an altercation between officers and remandees and detainees. Initial reports suggest that the matter escalated on the seizure of a cell phone. The inmate received injuries and was taken to the Mandeville General Hospital for treatment and reportedly transferred to another police facility. Indicom has been examining all the requisite records pertaining to the persons in custody. The Commission will be seeking to ascertain the time and date or times and dates of the incident or incidents and the steps taken for medical attention to be given to any person injured without delay and the facts surrounding the incident.
JTA appealed for help to find missing teacher. Jamaica Teachers Association JTA has issued an appeal to the public to share any information they have on missing teacher Daniel Anglin. The 29-year-old Anglin, who works at St. Peter's Calvary Primary and Infant School in St. Andrew and who lives in Hellshire area of Portmore, St. Catherine, was last seen about 5:50 a.m. on Monday, May 13, while on her way to work. She is of dark complexion, slim build, and about 5 feet 6 inches tall. The JTA is appealing to anyone with information which could lead to her safe return to call the 119 police emergency number or the nearest police station or the Jamaica Teachers Association at 876-922-1385-7. This call can be made between the hours of 8:30 a.m. and 5 p.m. workdays, the Teachers Union stated. According to JTA, it remains concerned about the negative impact of violence on the education sector and is calling on all law-abiding citizens to join forces in helping to rid our communities and generally our country of the atrocities which continue to parade against our children, our elderly, our teachers, and generally all Jamaicans. Violence of any sort in our society continues to have a debilitating impact on all aspects of our educational landscape, and this is counterproductive, stated the JTA. The association is concerned that violence generally is not being contained to specific areas, but is now being perpetrated against all Jamaicans, teachers and students alike. The association also condemns any violence against educators whose daily task is to mold the lives of our children, giving them a good start in life, thus making them worthwhile and productive citizens of Jamaica and the wider Caribbean and the world. We anticipate the support of all Jamaicans in this fight against violence, but more so at this time in the search for Miss Anglin, a young and promising educator at the JTA. Prime Minister Andrew Holness hands over land titles to NHT applicants for lots at Friendship Oaks. Over 100 persons were presented with the keys to their new homes and land titles to served lots in Goshen, St. Elizabeth. The NHT National Housing Trust completed units at Friendship Oaks Housing Development, and the selected applicants were given the keys and titles during a handover ceremony. Prime Minister Andrew Holness noted that home ownership is a legacy to be passed on from generation to generation to break the cycle of poverty. Mr. Holness said several other housing developments are in the pipeline and urged more citizens to submit an application to NHD.
It is the creation of intergenerational wealth, meaning that when the family gets this property, it is a legacy to be passed on for generations to come. Indeed, it can break the cycle of poverty. And that is why every Jamaican wants to own a piece of the rock, wants to own a house or a piece of land, because it is seen as the first step in ending intergenerational poverty and creating intergenerational wealth. And the NHD is playing a very critical role in that. So what you as citizens, residents, potential homeowners need to pay attention to is that train line of housing that is coming. So you can start to plan. Well, I know houses are coming in 2030, 2026, 2027. Let me see how I can put my business in order. How do I get pre-qualified and start to target those houses that are coming? And that is the factual information that I'm presenting to you as citizens, so that you can make rational decisions.
Indicom using CCTV footage to help probe quadruple killing by police. Independent Commission of Investigations Indicom is banking on closed-circuit television CCTV footage to help in better understand how events unfold on May 8, when 4 males were fatally shot during a reported firefight with police in downtown Kingston. The dead men have been identified as 17-year-old Daniel Rose of Mark Lane, Romaine Bones Lewis of King Street, 19-year-old Stephen Rochester, carpenter of Love Lane, and 44-year-old Carnell Jackson of a New Haven Kingston 20 address. It is reported that the gunfire occurred around 1:30 a.m. and continued until just after 4 a.m. One member of the JCF was shot and injured in the incident. On Friday, Assistant Commissioner of Indicom Hamish Campbell told reporters that despite numerous visits by his investigators to the scene where the shooting occurred, no eyewitnesses have come forward. The media reports are well known that the police did confront armed gunmen. Those armed gunmen were engaged in a gunfire with other men that was initially witnessed by the police. Those gunmen were seen escaping, and some of that aspect is documented on CCTV. A chase ensued, and the vehicle that the criminals were driving crashed and suffered severe frontal collision damage. Those men escaped from the car armed with guns, and there was a further confrontation with the police, and 4 men were shot and killed. This is the account we have of the event, and we're trying to correlate that account with the CCTV evidence and forensics, Campbell stated. He told reporters that Indicom continues to investigate the matter, and most of the investigative groundwork have been laid. Much work was done the day of the shooting, and considerable amount of time was spent at the 4 different scenes where the shooting occurs and resulted in damage to the car and eventually the fatal shootings. The matter has gone to the laboratory. The weapons and over 100 casings found on the scene. Over 100 shots were fired by the security forces, and there were shots fired by gunmen. That matter is continuing, stated Campbell. CCTV evidence is being recovered from one premises, and further inquiries are being made in relation to other CCTV in the area which captured set of the events. That is under investigation still. We are not in a position to further provide commentary in relation to those aspects of the CCTV evidence. The officers have all made their statements and given them to Indicom, and they have also come in for interviewed as witnesses, and inquiry will continue, with the post-mortem still to be held, added Campbell. As it relates to eyewitnesses, Campbell said there were people who clearly did not see something. We don't have at any stage any testimony from any civilian saying that they see any aspect of the shooting, he noted. When questioned if the police personnel involved have been removed from frontline duty, Campbell said it is JCF policy to send any member involved in fatal shooting on administrative leave for 14 days. He pointed out, however, that he could not say for sure if the JCF members involved in this incident were sent on administrative leave. The officer would be sent on administrative leave for 14 days, but not as punishment. When the police conduct their administrative inquiry, then the officers would normally be returned to duty. In this instance, one officer was shot and injured, so he would not be returning to duty. They are not on suspension nor interdiction, but it is normal for administrative leave for 14 days. That is a standard policy for them, so they wouldn't be telling us if that is the situation. That is how we understand it to be, Campbell explained. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.